After our first pre-season friendly of the season, a 4-2 defeat against AFC Wimbledon, but Gavin, I've got to ask you, you must have been pleased about quite a lot. Can you tell the fans what that was, please?
I mean, obviously, you know, when I think it's right to draw in the second half first. It's difficult for those lads. Those lads have been in training. It's basically a team of what people badge as trialists. So we know them better than that because they've been training with us pretty much since the start of the season. And they're good lads, but they get thrown in today, and that's my decision, into playing in a team that they've never played, in or alongside, and they have to knit together very quickly, become a team very quickly, and they're playing against a really strong AFC Wimbledon side. And we thank Johnny for bringing the team down, because it really means a lot to clubs like us. But the task for them was huge in the second half. Let's be honest. After, especially probably a bit of added pressure as we were winning the first half. So I'm really pleased from the point of view of the effort they put in the second half, and there were some good performances, but pretty much I expected maybe it might go that way, because not because they're bad players, because they're very good players, but they're players that have never played in the team together. Obviously in the first half we pretty much played as a familiar team as such as we could. We've still got a few missing, of course. And to be 2-1 up against a strong AFC Wimbledon side is really good. And I thought we were good for that, personally. You expect them to have some time with the football at times. The fitness levels are going to be miles better, etc. So there were times when we had to dig in, but I was really pleased with the first half coming off, and I felt that the boys had done the work that I wanted them to do. We'd got out of it what we wanted to get out of it in respect of our aspects of play that we wanted to see, and we scored 2 goals from crosses, which is great for me in respect of how we're set up. Overall I've got to be really pleased, because first half I think was really good. The second half was always going to be difficult, and I felt that those lads kept going, and there were some decent performances.
Particularly in that first half. I mean, the whole of the Wimbledon squad, I understand, were in part of their first team, but for a good 40 minutes we gave them quite a tussle.
I'm not saying you expect that to happen. They're a team that's got promoted, and good luck to them in the forthcoming season. They're a team that I've had a long affiliation with in respect of having loan players, and we saw Harry Sidwell last season, so long may that continue. But they're a good side. And for us to go out in our first pre-season game and give a good account of ourselves was as much as I could have asked for. And to be up at the break is a cherry on the cake.
Absolutely. Gav, I've got to ask you about Tommy. You said when you brought him in this time last season he wasn't fit. Now he is. You thought he'd deliver, and my goodness, even in one pre-season game you showed what he can do.
I said it. There may be a few doubters, because a few people remember where he was at this time last year. I've got great faith in Tommy, and I think if Tommy's fit and he's focused, and more importantly he's found a home, he can find a home, then all of a sudden you get a very good player who's strong, dependable, and when you put the balls in the box it's going to be an absolute pain. When you speak to our defenders last season when we played Hornchurch in the second game away, they'll tell you how much of a difficult player he was to play against. So if you've got Adam Thompson and people like that giving that sort of endorsement, well, for me, I felt it was a good time to bring Tommy in and get him integrated and as part of the family and part of the home.
And Lamar Reynolds was in the stands watching. Once that international clearance goes through, it looks quite exciting on paper, at least, with the two of them.
It's all logged, it's all with the FA and everything's logged, with a contract, etc. But this international clearance business, I think there's a new system in place which is taking ridiculous amounts of time, and we've not been able to field him at the moment. But hopefully that'll change by the weekend. I think it's important we don't forget Harry out there first half, because we're talking about Lamar and Tommy. Harry's coming in with us pre-season. I thought he was a real handful today, and I think there's only better things to come from him. Really pleased with Harry, and worked hard, he's humble, he wants to work hard, he wants to find a home again after a difficult season with injury at Maidstone last season. So I thought he again was equally a handful. It's just that Tommy's getting the plaudits because of the goals.
Yes. Now you mentioned once or twice that you might change formation. We saw a back four tonight in both halves. Should we read anything into that, or is that just something you wanted to experiment with?
It's not experimental at this stage. We've been working since day one in respect of what we want to do. We've got a long way to go, and that's only right because we're at our first pre-season friendly. But what we do is set boundaries. So we set tasks tonight. So we look at what we want to get out of the game, regardless of the result. All right. Regardless of the result, we want to get out of the game, and we're talking about our aspects of play and how we function, and whether it's coming second nature, whether it's not quite coming. I think from a first pre-season friendly, I think we can look at it and go, okay, that's a good foundation that we set ourselves, and we can just move on to the next one, and we will want to see improvements as we go through.
Just a couple more, Gav. Evan Jones playing left back today, showed a lot of pace already in 45 minutes. What did you make of his performance?
I thought it was excellent. Playing him on the wrong side, that's not deliberate. It's not something that we're necessarily looking to do in that respect. But I felt, having looked at Avan in training and looked at how comfortable he can be on that side, I thought, let's put him in on that side. PAYNE was a bit late today, in truth, so we decided to drop PAYNE in the second half. But I thought Avan was dependable. I thought he was tough and a good 45.
And on to Canvey Island now. Obviously, as you said earlier, you probably couldn't have expected much more from today. Are we likely to expect pretty much the same kind of situation on Saturday? Given the trialists you played today?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're 45s at the minute, and we will be on Saturday. There's no question. Teams are particularly, some teams are 2 games ahead of us, some are 1 game ahead of us. The first for me is always 45s. It's always about avoiding injuries, which, as far as I know, we have, which is very important. And it's all about building into that first game of the season, which, as we now know, is going to be extremely tough.
In fact, you've just made me think of one more. I mean, you could not have made it up, could you? Torquay away, same as this time a year ago. Then Maidenhead at home. It's a pretty challenging start, to say the least.
Do you know what? I had a chat with Nursey earlier about the start, and actually, when I looked at it, I thought, well, you could have thrown any team into the mix in that first 4 games, and we'd be going, what a tough start, right? Because it's as simple as that. The league has stepped on several levels, in my opinion. We have a tough season ahead. There's no question about that. Are we probably better set up this time than we were this last year? Probably. We've still got some work to do on recruitment. For us, as I've said before, recruitment is often a slower process than most clubs because, quite simply, and not suggesting it's a we're not as big as the clubs, that are around us in the league, and they have a bigger pulling power in respect to the packages that they offer. We don't. So it has to be a slower process for me in respect of recruitment. You, as a manager, you want everyone there. First game, you want to have your squad sorted. First training session, everyone's there and not have to do it. The reality for us is different. All right, that's not a criticism of the club at all. That's far from it. It is what it is, and we all recognise that teams in the league this season have probably stepped on, all right, from last season. And we start with one of the big boys, and then we potentially play one of the big boys, and then maybe we play another big boy, and then another big boy, maybe. So we've got to embrace it. We've got to go at it. We understand the task ahead, and we will have a go at it. That's what we're here to do. We're Enfield Town, and Enfield Town, from the support point of view, is never say die. And I want that to mirror into my team, and we're going to need that.
Thanks, Gavin. See you on Saturday.